Hey, insight number 4. Yes, we're still in Esther 4. I know I did 3 from the same thing, but it's such a it's so full of goodness. I felt prompted, and not I wanted to, I really felt prompted to talk about fasting. Because a lot of people that don't fast or wonder why you have to fast have questions about this. And we can look at how we can do it better and how we can explain it to those who don't understand. I know one time that we were asked as a church group and I mean worldwide Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we were asked to fast by a prophet for relief from the COVID, that we could get that first wave over and get out of lockdowns, which we did, and pray for some, for the vaccines to be developed, those kind of things, which they have, and whether you believe in that or not, that's up to you, but we were asked to do that. So I put that out there to ask everyone to join. My cousin's wife, who's non-member, she said to me, why do you have to fast to hear God? And I'm like, for God to hear you. That's what she said. Why do you have to fast for God to hear you? And I said, no, it's not about God hearing me. I need to fast so that I can hear God. That's the difference. But how do you explain, it got me thinking, how do you explain this process of fasting and what it is to people who don't do it and don't understand it? So, Esther does not do this alone, and neither do we, for a start. When we fast together. We can fast as a family, as a stake, as a ward, as a church, even if we do it individually, we know that there's other people that are fasting probably for the same thing at the same time. Probably highly likely. What blessings have you seen from fasting? Have you seen blessings come into your life? I certainly have. And how do you explain fasting to non-members? Now, the Gospel Topics page is brilliant, and I would direct you to that. Go look at the Gospel Topics page on fasting. It's really going to help you explain fasting to people who have questions. And if you have questions, then it's totally for you. And then please fire away any other questions you've got, because fasting isn't about giving up something to hear God. It's not about God hearing us. It's not that it's going to bring greater blessings if we do. What it does is put us in this place of spirituality. It calms us. And you can do this without giving up food. There are other things you can fast from. Like every year, I keep Lent. Lent is a Catholic tradition. Celebration, worship, I don't know what you want to call it, I don't know what they call it, sorry guys, but I do Lent. I give up something for 40 days, because I think it's good to give up something, to just have that appreciation for it, and it does put you into a more focus, you've really got to focus on whatever you're giving up. It's not going to be something light, it's got to be something that's really hard for you to give up, so that you go through this process of change and to help you get through the giving up of that, you turn to the Lord and ask for help. And that's what it does. It helps you to hear the Lord better. It helps you to sort of be more focused and centered, just in general, without all the noise. So because you're focusing on doing this fasting thing, that you can hear more answers and hear more direction from the Holy Ghost. That would be how I would explain it. And that's how I explained it to my cousin's wife. So hopefully that was helpful. She said it was, so that was good. And then it comes down to, how do you fast? Because for myself and my husband, we need to take medication, so we need it with food. So how do we fast? It used to be that I'd have plain toast. I can't do that anymore because we don't really eat bread. And just drink water. That would be on our fasting Sundays, just to help, just to go through it. But if I'm fasting, particularly for something, like Esther and Mordecai and her 7 maidens and the rest of the Jewish people in Shushan were at this time, and I had to, if I was there and I had to take my medication, which of course I wouldn't, because 1, I can't time travel, and 2, they wouldn't have had the medication I take, but just saying, per se. As an example, if you're ward and stake, we're going to do that now for a purpose, and you needed to fast, but you had to take medication, and you had to eat, and you say, sorry, I can't fast. Do not feel guilty about that at all. You are doing the best thing for your body. And there are other ways you can fast. Have you heard of the spirit of the fast? Absolutely. Because the actual giving up of food is not what fasting's about. You can center yourself and maybe give up watching TV, give up screen time. Or maybe you can, I don't know, give up your Sunday afternoon walk and read the scriptures instead. There's so much you can do in that process of that centering on Christ. It's to help you center on Christ, however that is. Not so he can hear you better, but so you can hear him better. Now, what this did for Queen Esther is to help her to know what to do. Because in chapter 5, she dresses up in her royal garb, which would have been beautiful, and goes and stands at the threshold. So she doesn't enter in, she doesn't break the law, but she stands at the threshold. The king sees her and invites her in, pointing his gold scepter at her. She touches the scepter, meaning that she wants to speak, and he allows her to speak. Even though she wasn't invited, that was his invitation. Now, to me, I would have gone in there and said, "You're going to kill my people, save us." It wouldn't have worked. Instead, she says, "Please, come to this beautiful banquet I have prepared for my king, this feast." And he's like, "Oh, okay, dinner, sweet," and invites Haman to the second feast and catches him out there. That's part of the other story. But I just really wanted to focus, I really felt to focus on this fasting and how it directed her to know what to do. She was able to hear the Lord directing her. This is going to be the best way to get the king to see what this is and uncover this whole plot and to save your people. This is what you're meant to do, and you have the demeanor, you have acted in a way that is trustworthy, and remember those things I said, the trustworthy, honest, the kind, caring, all those things will get people to listen to you. So he listens to her, and eventually turns out really good. So that's really cool. So that's what happens in chapter 5. Very awesome. And then there's also blessings of fast offering. Now, if you're looking at those, if you give a fast offering, because that is, if you're going to go read the gospel topics, you might have heard of fast offering. Do you pay fast offering? That's, they'll say generally that's what you would have spent on the meals that you've missed. Now, for me, in breakfast, that's about, 70 cents of that, and water comes from the tap for free. So that's not what we pay. We pay generous fast offering because we can at this point in time. And we feel that it's appropriate, but there's no given amount. It's what you feel is generous. And there's no pressure either, because nobody knows what it is except the ward clerk, and who sees it for 3 seconds and passes it on, and the bishop who might look at it at tithing settlement. It's really quite anonymous, and it's going to bless your life. And if you want to know the blessings of that, go look at Isaiah 58. Now, we may cover that when we go through Isaiah. I'm not quite entirely sure. I haven't really looked forward yet. But Isaiah 58 really does spell out in a very interesting, Isaiah way, but he will list what comes from paying fast offering. And those are blessings that I desire. I desire them greatly. And they have definitely come into my life. I get to look where I live. It's, for a start, it's just one. There's so many, so many that come from paying fast offering. It's pretty cool. Anyway, let's finish off with this around fasting. The quote from Elder Joseph P. Worthland, who said that fasting and prayer can help develop within us courage and confidence. See? When we fast, our righteous prayers and petitions have greater power. Why do they have greater power? Because we can hear the Spirit more and we know what to do. That's how it works. We're in a better place to have those petitions and prayers because we're having that moment of missing whatever it is. So that's how it works. Hope that's helpful. Honestly, go look at the gospel topics. It's amazing. In your app, online, sweet as. All right. Hang around. We'll finish up with number 5. I'll see you there.